Ladies and gentlemen, watching movies late at night!
Hello and welcome to Watching Movies Late at Night. Tonight we're going to take a look at one of the more questionable remakes during the 90s, a decade in which many horror remakes have been done.
There was the remake of Dracula, Frankenstein, and a few other horror films that were remade.
Oh, said that Dracula and Frankenstein were from the books.
Whatever. Anyways, the bottom line is there was a whole ton of remakes that were released out in the 90s. Although I'm pretty sure that it doesn't beat the record that the 2000s had brought forth.
And without further ado, we're going to take off the shower curtain and watch Gus Van Sant's 1998 remake of Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho.
However, to rewind a bit, we're also going to take a gander at who's in the director chair, Gus Van Sant. Gus Van Sant is largely known as the director of such hit classics like Last Days, Milk, and the cult hit everybody knows him for. Even cowgirls get the blues.
Oh, and some film about hunting and smart college janitors or something. I don't know. I've never heard of it, so yeah, I don't know.
I feel as if that was all drained away, as if in the shower, all due to Gus Van Sant not doing something new, and is just copying and pasting over everything from the original to the modern day.
The 1998 remake of Psycho was unneeded as all hell. Yes, that's true. However, Gus Van Sant had tried to defend the film, trying to say that, I had to remake the movie so they don't have to. Wait a minute.
The remake starts off proudly with Pablo Ferro's revolutionary title sequence, which diverted from the original Saw-based title sequence by a long shot. I practically can't even tell the difference between them. The opening scene is the scene with Marion Crane and Sam, her boyfriend, just sleeping. Oh, and talking about something too. I'm just too focused on that fly in the sandwich though. What does it even mean? Does it foreshadow something darker and sinister to come in the future? Perhaps even something about a motel and a cross-dresser?
No.
This!
Okay, I'll admit this. They did a good job of making the motel look offbeat and sleazy. However, I fail to see the reason for changing the appearance of the house, especially since the house, the inside of the interior, is kept exactly the fucking same. Okay? And it doesn't help that in 2013, everyone else knew that they fucked up in this remake of changing the house, because in 2013, the Bates Motel television series didn't fucking change the house. So they fucked up. They fucked up. But set that aside, guys, for you know what? You're about to experience probably the best Norman Bates performance ever.
You thought that Charlie from the Chocolate Factory was a good Norman Bates?
Wrong!
You thought that even Anthony Perkins from the original was a good Norman Bates?
Wrong! Again! The best performance of Norman Bates is obviously Vince Vaughn. He's the man who kept the original image of the novel's version of Norman Bates alive on the silver screen. Think about it.
Think about it like in the novel, guys. Vince Vaughn obviously fills the role of the overweight, grotesque-looking, mid-40s version of Norman Bates.
Yeah. What? He's still seen. So, just to compare here, we've gone from the original novel. Norman was a fat, balding, mid-40s dude who basically read the occult, Aleister Crowley and all that shit. He read weird shit, okay? To a boy next door in the Alfred Hitchcock version, okay? To now a perverted Vince Vaughn in Gus Van Sant's 1998 remake. Fuck this shit, man! Fuck this shit!
Back to the basement, we see Mrs. Bates watching my second favorite Alfred Hitchcock film.
That's a good little reference, Gus. That's a good little reference, I'll admit. You're a sneaky ass motherfucker.
However, the sly reference is interrupted by Mrs. Bates' twin sister?
Wait a second. I thought that whole sister's story arc was supposed to be for the original string of sequels for the Psycho in 1990-60. Well, fuck this joke. Who's writing these jokes? Christ, these are bad.
So yes, my viewers, that's right. Norman Bates was actually his own mother this whole entire runtime of the film. What a shock.
It's not like the trailer revealed everything it could about Norman Bates, but I digress.
So Sam beats the shit out of Norman, he gets caught, and then we're explained on what has happened to Norman through a psychologist in a shorter speech than it was in the original. One of the things Gus had apparently fixed from the original. After, there goes the ending mother monologue with the same skull being superimposed and the clever placement of the chain pulling the car up, which is meant to symbolize Norman and his mother's eternal bond. In the original, I have felt it was done with more subtlety, however here, I think it's more prominent. I don't know, in black and white, I really didn't notice it. With the color here, I think it reveals it more actually.
So that was the 1998 remake of Psycho.
The remake was just basically copy and paste of the original and onto this one, and it was done to a point where it's clear this film just comes off as stale and lacking substance. All jokes aside, I actually felt bored and sleepy with this fucking film. It was just so disinteresting to see the same thing done again, with no new twists being done to keep it interesting.
Remakes are remade with the intention of doing something different, either in the time or maybe place or perspective that the film is set in. However, this film gives a big ol' fuck you to that whole shit.
The changes made here in this remake were so minuscule, even a fucking microscope couldn't detect them. The plot stays too much of the same, and it didn't stray far at all. Plus, a lot of the change that was made, however, was just fucking unnecessary. The prime example, like this.
Yeah, well, that movie fucking sucked. God! It's so bad that I might even have to do a bullshit rating system for it. And that's what I'll do. I'm gonna give this film 1 out of 5 shower caps. And even then, I think I'm giving this film way too much credit than it deserves by giving it that. Well, we've been watching movies late at night, and I'm gonna go take a shower now. Fuck, this whole